What's up you guys, and welcome to today's video. I'm going to be doing a fun pressed multi-chrome look. I'm also going to be peeling with my Unearthly palette. I just used some of the mattes in here. Really fun. Haven't really played with this one on camera, so you'll see that. So I'm just going to be talking about my newest one from Chaos Makeup. I've got a pressed multi-chrome. I've talked about these on my channel a couple of times, so this is nothing new. It's not new on their site or anything, just new to me. The packaging as far as receiving this is new. Just by sheer doing these videos like every year, I've kind of shown the evolution of their packaging. So here's the latest packaging that I received. Just like the little box. Comes in its usual component. There's a sticker on the front, which is new for the brand. Rounded puff inside, which is nice for that extra protection of these precious little delicate shadows and shipping. You just pop it right out. And the sticker is nicely already on the back. I love that update. It used to come on the component and I would kind of just peel it off, put it on. Wasn't a huge deal, but that was really exciting to see that update. Just one less thing to have to do or mess with. And this is already ready to go. The thing with these pressed multi-chromes, they're really easy to work with. They're very pigmented and rich, with the exception of one that was just a little less pigmented. It wasn't even less pigmented, it just had less of that like slick wet look with a really strong flip. It was just more subtle. This one is very true to more of my favorite pressed multi-chrome formula from the brand. It's the one that I kind of more know and love. The shade today that I'm featuring is Magma. It's very similar to one of the other shades that I've featured before, which was Just a Girl. That one has a little bit more of like a green flip to it. This one has a much stronger like copper to purple flip. This is very much identical to my Bella Beauty Bar palette. Has a shade called Dagger in it from the Star-Crossed Lovers. That one I think is discontinued or sold out now, but that multi-chrome in there was so pretty. It was so cool. This reminds me of a much punchier, more copper leaning version of that, which is actually what I wanted. The shade in the palette is like drying out on its way out. So now I have this, but we're just going to play around and just have some fun playing with the multi-chrome look. I really do appreciate that these have like a base where you can be one and done. Today I just felt like adding some other color and some bold underlining of the eyes. So let's just get started. Let's play with some makeup and I will just show you this really fun pressed multi-chrome look. Put those aside. I'm still waiting for my contact order to come in, so yeah. I'm going to start with priming my face with my color correcting primer balm from Moira Cosmetics. Just does some subtle redness correction, smooths out my pores, and makes my makeup last longer. Some days I do it all over, other days I just kind of hit my T-zone and like the redness areas on my cheeks. Next, I am going to use Born to Glow from NYX. It is their liquid illuminizer. This is in like the lightest shade. They have a couple. This is Sunbeam. I have Sunbeam and then I have the rose gold one called Gleam. I'm just using a small amount and I'm just going to kind of dab that on the high points of my face, and this is going to go under my foundation. I've been doing this for years before all the Charlotte Tilbury and e.l.f. and all of those liquid illuminizers really started to take off for like under foundation. This is one that's meant to be used over, but it's really nice for under. So yeah, we're going for glowy today. I don't want shiny, I just want kind of healthy radiance. So the products I'm using today are all going to promote that finish. So yeah, just use it like that. It really melts into the skin nicely. Sometimes overusing this over your powder products, you can get a little streaking if you don't work quickly. Because I'm only working in my skincare and primer balm right now, I didn't have any issues. It just blended right in. So something to be aware of what step you're using a product like that in. I do find that this is really versatile. I can use it, you know, under or over, but you do just have to be mindful of techniques just a little bit because that powder will make a difference. I'm going to be mixing my L'Oreal Pro Glow. This is my lightest shade. I go between like this shade and a deeper shade, the 202, and the 204. This is the 202 shade, and I'm also going to be using my NARS Light Reflecting Foundation, and this has a nice radiant finish. I just finished my Flower Beauty Illuminizing Foundation, and I don't know if that's discontinued or if I can go pick it up at a drugstore somewhere. In the meantime, I'm using this NARS one, which is really similar. It's just a few shades like deeper. So I'm gonna kind of be like mixing these in a spot situation to kind of get some sculpting going on. I want to use this eyeshadow all over the lid and then have a very sculpted look today. So I thought it would just be fun to do my base on camera. I don't normally do that. And I'm going to be using like more of a dense brush. It's short bristles, but they are kind of like softer. They're not dense like, say, this kind of dense. This brush has worked, but see how the brushes are much closer together. They're kind of pushed. This one doesn't have that. So it's great for anything that's a little bit on the fuller coverage or medium coverage and you want to tone that down to a lighter coverage. A brush like this is great. This is from e.l.f. and they actually call it their powder brush, but I use it for liquid in that manner and it works great. So I'm just going to pump a little on top. I don't want a lot. I'd rather add more, like work slowly, and this shade is slightly too deep on me right now, which is why I'm going to be mixing it. I'm going to start in my T-zone in the front of my face and then work my way out. So more product will be kind of in the center and less on the outside. This brush will kind of eat up a lot of the product, but that is how I am achieving like a lighter coverage with it today. And I do kind of a mixture of like stippling and kind of buffing, so that's why I like this type of brush for this. Okay, so that's the first pass. I'm going to do that again with the second pump. And now I went in with the L'Oreal one. This is like one of my favorite foundations. I've been using it for a really long time. My sister caught me onto it like forever ago, and she just recently let me know she thinks it's being discontinued. So I'm like, no. So I'll be shopping for new foundations soon between running out of basically everything I have and it being discontinued now. I'm going to put a small pump of that and see how it's lighter. So I'm going to be focusing on where I want to highlight, which is like here, and then I like to do under my eyes as well. This is also a much like more full coverage foundation, so between buffing the two and like layering them, I'm not only achieving like the color and highlighting sculpting effect that I want, but I'm also like getting the finishes where I want and the coverage where I want. So I'm just gonna do like a little bit of sculpting with this Mega Concealer. It's a full coverage. It's a little on the light side, but I like this one for when I just want something to kind of stay in place and conceal. So I'm just going to tap just a little bit. This is so full coverage and thick. Tap just a little bit. I'm going to do the bridge of my nose. Do like a contouring technique. Well, this is a really thick full coverage, so I'm going to just like let it sit for a second, and then I'm just going to gently tap it into place to blend it out, and it should give me some nice full coverage as well as a nice brightening effect. I was so obsessed with the contouring trend for so long, and I still haven't let bits of it go. And then just tapping with my ring finger. You can use a brush, a sponge. This is just what works best for me. The warmth of my finger and like the size and placement of everything with this particular product, because it is like very thick and rich. It doesn't want to go very far from where you placed it. As you can see, it blended out beautifully, but it's not something you want to be like swiping and wiping like a liquid. Okay, I'm just going to take my brush, dab everything into place, and then my last bit of priming and prepping is going to be with the Moira Lasting Cream Shadow in the shade Rose Sand. I talk about this a lot on my channel. It ranked pretty high in my ranking video. Go check that out because I have a whole ranking video of Moira products. So I'm going to put this and just tap this on the lid. kind of cancels out a lot of that like blue pigment I have in the veins and things. And it's also gonna give it a nice surface for shadow to stick. I do have issues with this creasing on me if I don't set it in some manner. Like even if I'm putting on, I go right into setting it with my eyeshadows. It just doesn't work out. I start getting creasing, and you know, I can press and blur it, but I haven't quite found the right way without having to add a setting layer in between this and my eyeshadow. So that's what makes it not my favorite thing, but I kind of can't stop using it at the same time because I do just like its creaminess and that color correcting. I'm gonna go ahead and set the full face with my Jacqueline and Robin powder. I like this one. My kids got into it, so much of it is in here. I have to be careful. But I'm going to take a giant kabuki brush. This one's from e.l.f. I feel like I don't see a lot of people using these giant kabuki brushes. They were like all the craze. And I'm just gonna dab very lightly where I want to set. I'm not too concerned with cheeks and things because I am going to be going over with powders and such in a minute, but I am going to gently dab when barely any product is on the brush, just to give everything the same kind of finish. I feel like that avoids skipping if everything isn't too wet underneath. But when I can, I do like to do a cream product and then the powder version of that same product right over. I'm going to use an e.l.f. putty brush and dip into Brute Flute. It's a super shock cheek that ColourPop had last year, a couple of years ago. I can't keep track of ColourPop anymore. Can anyone? Okay. I'm just gonna dab this, even though I already set with powder. I could have done this under, but I didn't want it to get too overboard. I love versatile cream products. Things that aren't finicky where it has to be underneath your powders. It's not gonna like ruin makeup to go back over your powder with it. You might even get another type of technique or finish doing that. Like I love products that are just versatile. I love this putty brush. I talk about it all the time. I never use the other end. I don't even know exactly what that's for. But I do love this for cream and liquid products. I just find that it just gives the right amount of application and blends everything out in a very natural way. We're going to move on to powders now. That's it for my cream and liquids. Now I'm going to go into one of my newest bronzers. This is the Baked Bronzer Soleil 05 is the number of the shade, and it's a baked bronzer from Milani. It has like a very like pearlized like gold fleck mica kind of finish to it. Surprisingly on the cheeks I don't see any kind of glitters or fine particle situations, which is good. I don't like that. I have it on this giant brush. This is a e.l.f. complexion brush, and I'm just going to tap off the excess. I really generously swirled around in there, and then I'm just going to keep high up and just kind of below the blush. And I'm just very gently buffing. It's so pretty. Kind of turned that blush into like a peachy shade since that blush was a cream. And now I'm putting this powder over it. Really, really pretty flush. And now we are going to take that depth one step further. This is not a necessary step by any means. It's just one of those crazy old techniques that I still really love. And that is contouring. I'm going to do the shadow contour, and this is my favorite contour palette. I just find that these shades, especially along here, perfect. Like I've already used these up. I pan these. I've bought so many of these over the years, and yeah, they're really great. So I usually brighten with this banana shade. Today I'm just going to work in the contour shades. I usually like kind of this milk chocolate one because it's really neutral, and then when I want something deeper and buff in, I use this darkish shade. So I'm going to go into the darkest one with this angled blush brush. That is pretty generous with that. But that's right about where the hollow of my cheek is. So I like to go a little higher just to fake that it's higher. And I'm going to add this shadow starting at my hairline and gently going forward. And I'm going like under. I have my blush, bronzer, and then the contours on bottom. So See just the difference in depth and shadow that my cheek has. And I'm doing tiny circular motions, and I'm not going any farther. Trying not to do too much. This is just like the leftovers for my nose. I have a habit of over contouring my nose just because I like the effect, but it looks fine on camera. In person you can freak people out, so I'm just using what's left on the brush for right here to try and not go overboard. Just contouring this area of my eye. Okay, go back in with this giant kabuki and just with one swipe that really doesn't matter, I'm kind of holding it so it's like tapered side, and just kind of fluff everything into itself. Go across the nose. I think we're done with complexion. I'm just going to do eyebrows next and lips. I want to keep them soft today. I do have a habit of like really defining here, so I'm trying to be like really soft. I'm picking up the brush a bit more, back combing a bit more. Today I want to keep it on the softer side and really let this multi-chrome eye shine. I'm going to lengthen the tail, define that. I'm almost out of my ColourPop brow gel, which is my favorite right now, my favorite affordable one. I've tried a few other, I just didn't like either the hold or the pigmentation. I tried Milani's, I think it's like a pomade, and that leaves like a weird like dandruffy thing at the end of the day. Your eyebrows just like look really weird. You start to see that clear, and it's just, I don't know, it wasn't very flattering by the end of the day. I did like how my brows looked in the beginning though, so I'm still playing with that one. But so far, it is not knocking my ColourPop brow gel out of first place by any means. Do my lip liner. This is 01 Nude from the Moira Lip Divine. This is their liquid lipstick line. They just released more colors. Looks like some mauve shades. Then I'm going to use a tried and true lip liner. This is Kirby from ColourPop. It's majorly discontinued. It's just a warm, like mid-tone nude brown. Just adding some subtle definition and a bit of contouring to my lips. Check on my eyes. No creasing yet, so we should be good. Oh, look at that. So yeah, like a nice green, red, orange flip. So I'm really curious to put this on the eyes. I haven't played with it on the eyes yet. I have like swatched it and played around with it in that manner. So yeah, let's get started. I'm just gonna make this look really, really easy. You saw the prep I did. I'm going to use my professional eyeshadow brush from e.l.f. Get some of this on the brush. Nothing really fancy going on today. Yeah, see the creasing? Pat that out. We don't want that. I don't know how to get products like that not to crease on me. I'll have to try something else and see if it's the product or me. Oh yeah, this is just gonna go all over the lids today. Okay, this leans really purple on me too. So yeah, this is exactly like Dagger. I'm so excited because I loved that shade so much. And that palette is a couple of years old now, and some of the really like shiny special shades are starting to kind of dry up on me. So I am really happy that this might be, oh yeah, this is just like that shade Dagger. Oh, so cool. Reminds me a lot of another shade I have from Chaos Makeup called Black Magic, and that one is like a black base multi-chrome, and it can be like a little bit more on the subtle shifting side just because it is a lot like deeper. This one, at least in this lighting, looks a lot like what I wanted Black Magic to be. Ooh, okay, look at, here's the second layer, and I'm not spraying, I'm not doing anything. Previous experience with this brand, with the pressed multi-chromes, it's the only product I've tried, is they don't need to be sprayed, they don't need to be mixed, they don't need to be like, just let them do their thing. The formula, it performs the best how it is alone. So, and I find like a mixture of applying with my finger and a flat brush like this works really well. Real quick, I wanted to show you like how I am buffing out to achieve this, because this is just same brush and still the same shadow. So I have a lot less on my brush, like almost nothing. I've really packed it on. And now I'm just like gently like fluffing and buffing out the edge. And the base of this has just like this really nice like gray. It reminds me so much, I'm only using one shadow of a look that I do with my Bella Beauté bar, Star-Crossed Lovers, where it's like that Montague gray shade and then that dagger shade. So I am bringing this up. But yeah, now that there's just kind of a little bit of pigment left, it's kind of just buffing out into this nice smoky gray shade. Okay, so that's what we have after like buffing everything out. And you know I'm gonna do it. You know I'm gonna do it. You know I have to do it. It's happening. Let's just see what this looks like when we just apply it straight on. Oh my gosh, yeah, look at that. So pretty. Stunning. Stunning. It shows up purple on camera. I'm seeing like green and gold. It's so cool. A lot less red than I thought. Like I thought it was gonna have a lot of orange and red. You know what? Now that I'm saying that, look at that. Look at that. It is turning red as I smush on another layer with my finger. So I'm gonna like put it on, I'm gonna smush it on with my finger on like the inner half of my lid and leave the outside alone. So it's that deeper shade and like buffed out. You really can build this up. I'm going in again, and as you can see, each time I go over it, like it really intensifies it. They do sell a mixing medium, but I don't want it to be like liquidy or an eyeliner. I like this method, so. Okay, so you can see the difference between when I just applied that one layer with a brush, and then I went over a couple of times in the inner corner, pressing it on with my finger. I'm doing this color Loverboy from ColourPop, and I'm doing this in the lash line, the lower lash line, on the outside. And the shade Honey Dude in my waterline. Okay, so I just put that all in the waterline, and then I put that kind of on the inner corner and just the inner half of my bottom lash line, just to make my eyes look really round and big. And now we are going to go in with this e.l.f. small angled brush, and I'm just going to go over the lash line, and I'm going to use my Laura palette from Unearthly. I haven't used this on camera before, and I'm going to go into these like orangey shades as my bottom lash line. I'm going to start with the lighter, more peachy one called Fawn. And I'm just going to go over that pink shade and under. And just really layer this on the bottom lash line. Kind of warm up this look a little bit. Certain light looks really purple. I kind of want it to be that more orangey, copper, fiery color. And then I'm going to go into that deeper orange shade called Centaur and just kind of go over the outside where that pink liner is and really bolden that up just a little bit. Get rid of the pink and really make it orange. Here we go. I'm really fluffing that up into my top lid area. I think I'm going to put a tiny bit of this light peach called Fawn. Just going to put ever so slight little tap of that, like right here. I just want like a hint of what's going on the bottom, like right here. But I don't want to disturb any of the multichrome. So again, with the lighter shade, just a hint, just washing it in there so it subtly matches the bottom. Okay, for fear of going overboard, we're going to stop there. I think I'm going to dip into this black now that I'm done with those oranges, and just kind of tap it along the outside lash line here to really define my top lash. Okay, that's it. Not too much. This is a pigmented black. Just want a little border where my lashes are, because that multichrome is like forever changing in the different light. This will just make sure that no matter what light I'm in, my lashes kind of stay defined. And I'm only doing that on the outside. I'm going to intensify that just a little bit more with my Jumbo felt tip liner. Even though that's the Jumbo, I can still very easily use it for teeny tiny line application. There we go. I think I do want to do a slight wing today. Just gonna like do like a little flick. And mascara. Just using my Clinique. I talk about this one a lot. Probably one of my favorite mascaras, if not my most favorite mascara. Now I'm just going to go into, I cleaned off this angled brush, and I'm going to go into, I think I want to go in with Griffin here. It's like a little bit deeper one. Just put that on my inner corner. Just a little tap of it. And I think that is it for this look. That's it for the video today, you guys. Thanks so much for hanging out with me. Hopefully this was helpful as far as tips and tricks with the pressed multichrome, as well as just inspiring and fun and helping you play with your own makeup collection or even start one. So thanks for hanging out with me, and I can't wait to see you next one.